to the Bench Warriors, Episode 4. I'm Noah.
And I'm Charlie. Today we'll be talking about the MVP race, the biggest games of Week 18, and last of all, the playoff picture. Okay.
That's right. Let's get to it. The MVP race. Top 5 MVP contenders and their stats: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, and Jared Goff. I think we can get rid of 2 of them already. I think we can get rid of Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. I think Lamar Jackson would be number 1, then Josh Allen, then Saquon Barkley.
Personally, I think Joe Burrow winning the MVP. Because his stats are better. His team may not be better.
The stats are not better.
No,
Then
his stats are better.
Then the best player in the league, the best player in the league right now is Lamar Jackson. He has the best team. He has the best team around him. He's the best player. No one's stopping him.
MVP it's not rated by.
Yes, it is the best player.
It's the best player, not the best team. They don't have to. They could have a horrible team. If they could have a really, they could be really good.
He makes the Ravens look like a Super Bowl caliber team. That's why Lamar Jackson is the MVP. I don't think Joe Burrow doesn't make the Cincinnati Bengals look like a Super Bowl caliber team. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, because the rest of the team is not.
Jamar
Chase is good.
They lost to the Browns.
You have Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, OBJ, and
we don't even have OBJ anymore.
OBJ's not that good.
OBJ's on the Dolphins.
He did?
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, we're still the best team overall.
We're really good defense,
the Chiefs are the best team. But Patrick Mahomes isn't on there because he's not a good player this year. But anyway, to the biggest games. Vikings and Lions. The Vikings lost 9-31. That was a big game because whoever lost that game was going to be the 5th round, which is crazy because the Lions were so good, but they still lost. Or they won. They won, but if they lost, they were going to be the 5th round, even though they played that well.
They're 15-2. Yeah.
Yeah, 15.
They're 15-2 right now.
15. I thought they lost 3 games.
That's the Vikings. The Vikings.
14-3. Yeah, 14-3. Then Bengals versus Steelers. Whoever won that game was going. Either the Steelers could win their division with the Ravens. No, they couldn't even win the division. The Steelers.
The only reason that was a big game is because if the Bengals won.
Yeah.
That's one of 3 things they needed.
Yeah.
To make the playoffs. And sadly, they had 2 of 3. Somehow the Chiefs lost.
And then Saints versus Bucks. I think that was a game where if the Bucks lost and the Falcons won, they would have just not gone to the playoffs.
Eliminated.
I think when the Bucks game was called, you could see during the Falcons Panthers game, they were looking up at the jumbotron, and it looked like all the players, they were sad, and they just stopped trying, and the Panthers won the game. But for the Bucks game, the Saints lost 19-27.
Yeah. Going back to the Vikings and Lions game, that game was pretty close coming into halftime, but after halftime, the Lions kind of got the lead.
Yeah,
little 9-31 was crazy. Gibbs had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
4 touchdowns.
Which is crazy. But Jared Goff, he wasn't looking that
He had
good.
2 interceptions?
Yeah, 2 interceptions. One was it was just on him. The other one.
Some people are saying that it was rigged because there was a safety, but I mean, even if there was a safety.
Didn't they call the safety back or something?
No, they didn't, but it wasn't even a safety. He got the ball out. But 9-31.
Yeah, 9-31.
Is 2 points really going to help you? I mean, you get the ball back, but.
Yeah. But I think the honorable mention is Patriots versus Bills, Joe Milton's first start. Did you see what happened? It was insane. His stat sheet was insane. Did you see some of his throws that he made? One of them, it got called back, but he was on the run, mid sack threw the ball for a touchdown. It was crazy.
It was crazy. But Bengals Steelers, if you were watching, you could see George Pickens had a horrible game. He was not going well at all.
I wouldn't say horrible, but
Nah, he was passed to like 5 times, I think, and dropped 4 out of. Same with actually in the Vikings Lions game. What's it called? Justin Jefferson wasn't doing that well either.
Well, I
he
think
had some balls where he could have got them at his skill level, being an elite receiver.
I think it's just the Lions pass rush, and then also
and their
cornerbacks too. I think
man
that's
coverage
yeah, man
defense.
coverage. I think they have one of the best zones in the league. So I think that's a main key thing.
Yes, that's the main key.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by the BCS PTSA. The PTA is a dedicated team of parents and teachers to support hands-on activities for our school community. This year, our BCS PTA is sponsoring all the equipment that we need to do these podcasts that you're watching. So big thanks to the BTS PTA, and let's get back to the Bench Warriors.
But
Now let's get to the playoff picture. So we're going to be looking at one. We're going to have it up.
the playoff picture. We have the each.
Let me just take a pic really quickly here. Okay, we're here. You can see the wild card round.
Eagles.
Of course, the Kansas City has a bye, and so do the Lions have a bye.
Yeah.
You know the Broncos. They're
They're going.
they're playing the Bills.
Yeah, going to Bills, and
Yeah.
then it looks like Ravens are going to. Steelers are going to Ravens.
And then
Chargers are going to
Chargers
Texans.
will be going to Texans. One thing I want to really quickly point this out is the Chargers are a good team. I honestly feel like no one's been talking about them.
Yeah.
They've just been sneaking their way
I think it's gonna be like.
into like the higher teams,
I
which
think-
was
So who do you think is gonna win the game for the AFC side?
AFC Broncos versus Bills. Bills obviously. So
I think the Broncos might. I think the
the
Bills,
Broncos could give up a good push, especially them beating Kansas City.
Yeah,
That
but
was a big thing, but
it might
the
be a-
Bills also beat Kansas
it
City.
might be a small push. I think it's gonna be a really close game, but I think the Bills are just gonna win it. For the Ravens side, I think Ravens are gonna beat the Steelers. They've had a 4-game losing streak. And then for Chargers versus Texans, I think the Chargers are actually gonna beat the Texans. I think they lost Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
What's-
I think Steelers winning over. I don't know. It's just I think about the playoff Steelers
Yeah.
that are good. I think as well for you. I think Chargers gonna be moving on to the divisional round.
Yeah, I think Green Bay, NFC side, Green Bay versus Eagles.
So yeah, we have Green Bay versus the Eagles. We have
Commanders,
the Commanders versus the Buccaneers.
and Vikings versus.
Vikings
Rams.
versus the Rams, and the Lions
Yes.
had the bye.
So I think the Rams are like they're not one of the best teams there, but I think they're like a sneaky team that can get like under the radar. I think the Rams are beating the Vikings. I think Jaden Daniels is gonna beat the Buccaneers, and I think Eagles are just gonna beat the Green Bay Packers. What do you think?
Yeah, Eagles are probably going to beat Green Bay. I think the Commanders are going to beat Tampa Bay. It's always that division that has to get in the playoffs because you have to put the top 4 from each,
Yeah.
and they always usually lose in the first. Unless last year, I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay moved on
Yeah.
and then got eliminated. But LA was also
You see,
it's a good team. They've beaten the Bills and
do
Minnesota.
you see one of the things someone said? The Viner, he said just have the Eagles play the Vikings, and the Bills play the Ravens to see who plays the Lions and Chiefs.
That's
That's a crazy one.
Yeah, but I think Eagles are gonna beat Green Bay, Commanders beating Tampa,
Yeah.
and I take LA is gonna beat
Yeah, I think that too. Yeah.
because they beat them before.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings are.
But yeah, those are our first round.
Yeah, first
So
round. So
yeah, we'll see you guys next week to see what our predictions have worked for. All right.
okay, so let's recap what we talked about today. We talked about the MVP race and made our predictions. We recapped the top 3 games that we felt were the most important and looked at the predictions and made the playoff predictions who we thought. And I think that's it. So thanks for
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in episode 5.
Browns.
Like